Assalamu alaikum, dear friends. This is Muhammad Akram. As you all know that we have a series of lectures from different subjects, particularly from international relations, history, current affairs and world map. Simply we cover GK, general knowledge. And what these videos are so important, they are so helpful, particularly for those who are the aspirants of CSS and PMS. Today this video is from World Map series, and our topic is Oceania or Australia continent. Actually, Oceania or Australia is not a continent. You know what is the definition of a continent? A huge land mass having many countries like Asia, Africa, North America, South America and Europe. But Australia, we also call it Oceania, is not a big landmass. There are 14 countries. There are 14 sovereign countries, and they all are islands. There is no any neighboring country of each other. They all are islands, right? So therefore, this region is called Oceania. In South Asia, in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, we call this region as Australia or Australia continent, because Australia is the biggest country of this region. But if you go to the western countries, simply to Europe and North America, they call this area as Oceania but not Australia. So we in South Asia consider this region as Australia continent. And there are 14 sovereign and independent countries in this region. So let's start Oceania or Australia. Right. So here is its biggest country. As I said, this is Australia, right? This is Australia itself. It's a sovereign country, Australia. Right? This is also the part of Australia. This one is also the part of Australia, and there is New Zealand. There are two parts of New Zealand. Northern and Southern New Zealand, right? I will also recall their names, don't worry. These all are small islands or group of islands or clusters. We call them archipelagos as well as. So there are 14 sovereign countries here in this region. Right. Now, I will try to recall their names with giving them numbers. Number one, it is Australia. This is also part of Australia. It is Tasmania actually. This is Tasmania, the part of Australia. So number one, it is Australia. And number two, it is New Zealand. Number three, it is Tonga. It is Tonga. And number four, it is Fiji. Number five, Vanuatu. And number six, it is Solomon Islands. Number seven is here. It is Nauru. Number eight, Papua New Guinea. Number nine, it is Palau. And number 10, it is Micronesia. Number 11, Marshall Islands. Number 12, Kiribati. Number 13, it is simply Tuvalu. And number 14, Samoa. Right. Once again, I would like to repeat myself here. Australia, number one. Number two, New Zealand. There are two islands of New Zealand. Three, it is Tonga. Four, Fiji. Five, Vanuatu. Six, Solomon Islands. Seven, it is Nauru. Eight, Papua New Guinea. Nine, Palau. 10, Micronesia. 11, it is Marshall Islands. There are many islands here. These are actually cluster or group of islands, right? Every country is an archipelago. So 11 is Marshall Islands. 12, it is simply Kiribati. 13, this one is Tuvalu. And 14, it is Samoa. So there are 14 countries here. Overall, there are 14 sovereign countries in Oceania, right? So Australia is the biggest country of this region. Therefore, the name has been taken from Australia, as we call it Australia continent. But once again, I would like to repeat myself here that in South Asia, we call this region as Australia. But if you go to the European countries or to the North America, then you will see they call this area Oceania, but not Australia, right? Now, one more thing I would like to mention here. What is the location of Australia or Oceania? To the east of Australia, there is the Pacific Ocean. There are two names of Pacific Ocean, right? Actually, the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, the two are quite big oceans, and the Pacific is world's biggest and deepest ocean. They start from North Pole to South Pole, or from the north part of the land to the southern part of the land. Therefore, we say North Pacific and South Pacific, but this Pacific is South Pacific, right? So Pacific Ocean, the Pacific is to the east of Australia or Oceania, and to the west there is the Indian Ocean, right? It is the Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean is world's third largest ocean after the Pacific and the Atlantic. And to the north of this region, there is the Philippines, the Indonesia, and there are small seas. To the south, to this area, this water is called Southern Ocean or Antarctic Ocean. It is called Antarctic or Southern Ocean, right? And you must be clear, this is mainland of Australia. It is also the part of Australia, Tasmania. There is a strait. You know what is a strait? A strait is narrow part of water which connects two big waters, and it separates land masses. So this is a strait. It is called Bass Strait. Bass Strait is a strait. It is a narrow part of water which connects these two waters, or which separates mainland of Australia from its part Tasmania. It is New Zealand. There are two main islands of New Zealand, northern and southern, and there is also a strait which is called Cook Strait. Cook Strait, a strait, it is Strait. It separates, Cook Strait separates main two islands of New Zealand, and there is also an strait. It is called Torres Strait, which separates Australia from Papua New Guinea, right? So this is what we have regarding Oceania or Australia. That what is Oceania actually? This is Oceania because these are 14 sovereign countries. They are not having a huge land mass, but actually there is no any other country as neighbor of another. All are islands, right? They all are away from each other geographically. They have no any geographical boundaries or lengths, so they are in the ocean, right? Almost this is the Pacific Ocean. So there are 14 sovereign countries here. They all are independent and sovereign countries. These are small islands, or the cluster, or the group of islands. Australia is the biggest country. Then there is New Zealand, and these are quite peaceful areas of the world, right? another video. In the next video, I will try to define the mountains or geography or the physical map of Australia only, that which are the parts of Australia or what kind of rivers are here. Australia is actually a deserted country. There are big 4 or 5 deserts like Great Victoria Desert, Sandy Desert, Jimson and Simpson Deserts. So we will define Australia, its physical features in the next video. So today in this video, this is enough for you, and you must have command, because if you are going to cover your history, your IR in the First World War, what was in the Treaty of Versailles, because many islands here like Samoa, like Kiribati, Nauru, Tuvalu, so these were already the colonies of Germany, and in the Treaty of Versailles they were taken away from Germany and they were given to the Allied powers, particularly to the Great Britain and France. So geography, you must cover geography, you must cover world map, because world map supports you a lot. It helps you a lot to easily cover your history, current affairs, even your IR or political science. So you must have command on the world map. It supports you a lot to cover other subjects also. Thank you so much for watching this.